I'm Pastor Darren, and it's my privilege and honor to be one of the pastors here at Focus Church, and get the privilege of being able to speak God's word on a regular basis, and it's just my honor to be able to do so. Sitting on the front row, that's my amazing wife, Pastor Jenny. If you haven't met her. She's better than me. That's all there is to it. And after service, we're going to be hanging out in the lobby, and we'll be at that welcome tent that's out there. And so if we haven't had a chance to meet you, would love a chance to be able to do so. And we got a little gift for you, just our way of saying thank you so much for being here. You're a blessing to us to be here, and we would love to be a blessing to you as well. So just a small little token of just saying thank you so much for being here, or if you've got something going on, we just want to be able to connect with all y'all, and so we're going to be hanging out afterwards. But to get into today's message, we are in week 3 of a series called Worth It. Somebody say Worth It. It's a series on marriage, and I'll be talking about marriage a lot, but I want you to know that when we're really discussing everything that's going to happen today, that these principles that we're talking about, that they do not apply just to marriage. All right, so all of our teenagers, all of our single people in here who are like, I don't want to be here because it's a marriage series. I want you to know that these principles apply to every single relationship that we have. Friendships, co-workers, employees, all of the different kind of relationships that we have. These principles apply to every single person. And so when I say marriage, you can really substitute the word marriage for just simply relationship. And any relationship that you might be in that's struggling, you could be able to say, okay, this will apply into these relationships. And it really does. I'm telling you, it is powerful. And we're really going through, it's really my favorite verse when it comes to marriage that we've been walking through. And I think it's going to be a powerful day today as we're in week 3 of this series called Worth It. Somebody say worth it. Come on, somebody. The reason why I believe that it's worth it and that we need to say that it's worth it is because I know this to be very, very true. And you know this if you are a married person or if you're just a human being who has relationships. How many of y'all know marriage is hard? Come on, somebody. Marriage is hard. In fact, I know that many of us go through different marriage situations and circumstances, or just relationship situations and circumstances, which is why next week, instead of just me standing up here, just being able to speak the word to you, we're going to have myself and Pastor Jenny are going to be up here, and we want to be able to help answer the questions that you might have. So throw up that QR code. It's a lot of questions. Those are a lot of question marks. Somebody got excited with Photoshop right there. That's what they did. It wasn't me, y'all. That's just saying. But that QR code will take you to a place where you can submit questions. And we want you to know that those are anonymous. So I'm not going to be up here and be like, Pastor Jessica asked why her husband doesn't do the dishes. We're not going to do that, okay? Those are anonymous questions, and we just want to talk through all those situations because we know that everybody goes through different situations. And it's not that Pastor Jenny and I have all the answers. We just read the Bible, and the Bible does. Come on, somebody. And so we just want to be able to speak that to you. And any question that you have over marriage, over relationships, or just if you have something that you want to know about actually how tall is Pastor Jenny? She's a shorty, y'all, shorty. And my sons are not happy that I married a short woman. Come on, somebody. Come on, 6'5". I'm sorry, boys. Anyway, and so if you got any questions, we would love to be able to answer that, and that's what we're going to be doing next week. But this coming weekend, we actually have our Forever Conference, which is our marriage conference. We got Pastor Terry and Judith Chris. Come on, somebody. Some of y'all don't even know who they are, but Pastor Jenny, they're amazing, aren't they? It's truly an honor to be able to have them here in this house. Some great friends of ours, great pastors, one of the greatest biblical communicators that I've been around. My man's got 2 doctorates. Come on, somebody. Like one wasn't enough. I'm like, okay, whatever, like that seems like you're bragging a little bit, That's the second one is just bragging about things. You know what I'm talking about, Pastor Rod? You got one. What do you need another one for? You know what I'm saying? If you need another one, just get an honorary one. You know what I'm saying? Like just have some school give it to you, and then you don't even have to do the work. My man's bragging about how smart he is. That's what he's doing. But it is an honor to be able to have them here, and you do not want to miss that out. So you've still got time to be able to sign up for that, and this is really for single people too. It's a marriage conference, but those of you that are wanting to get married at some point, I'm telling you, you should definitely be here to be able to set yourself up for a future marriage that's successful. Come on, somebody, because marriage is hard. But I want you to know, marriage is worth it as well. Come on now. It's hard. Relationships are hard, but they're worth it. And I've said that every single week. And I've also said that I believe that you know that it's worth it because there's something inside of us that wants to get married, that we want to be able to build those relationships. I don't think that that's the issue that I've got to convince you that marriage is worth it. No, the thing that I think I need to convince you of is this, that you need to continually believe that marriage is worth it. Because marriage gets so hard that we think I'm not seeing any results from the effort that I'm putting in, and so I just want to quit because it's not worth it anymore. Well, the thing that I believe is that it's not that you're not putting in effort. I believe that almost every single person is putting in effort. The problem is that you're not putting in the right effort. Come on, somebody. And that's what we're trying to do, is to be able to help you along the process of changing the effort that you're putting into the marriage so that you can truly get the results that you want. Now, I said that you've got to change the effort that you're putting in. So then the question that I need to ask you is, are you willing to change? Because that's the honest truth right there. That's the hard thing. Because most of you in here would say, I want change. But are you willing to admit that you might be the person that needs to change? Oh, come on. Because the reality of it is that we think there needs to be change, and I can tell you who needs the change. I can tell you everything that she needs to change. You know what I'm saying? Perhaps, though, you're the one that needs to change. Perhaps you need to do something different to get the different results. Are you willing to change? I hope you are. And maybe you aren't today. Maybe you're not ready for it today. But I hope just the words that we're speaking today will be enough for you to be able to just spark a thought inside of you so that when you're ready to change, you're ready to know the effort that it needs to change. We're going through my favorite verse in all the scripture when it has to do with relationships and it has to do with marriage, and it's James 1:19. And James 1:19 starts off with this. Understand this. You got to understand it. See, I'm going to give you some principles. I'm going to give you the teachings. I'm going to give you the effort that you can have to be able to put into the marriage so that you can have a healthy marriage. I'm telling you that if you put these principles into practice inside of your marriage, that you will have healthy relationships. But the problem is you got to understand the effort that you need to put in. So how do you show and how do you demonstrate that you understand what is being taught to you? Philippians 4:9 says this. You got to keep putting it into practice. Which again goes back to, are you willing to change? Are you willing to put in effort? Are you willing to do something different so that the marriage that you're in can be healthier than it's ever been before? If you are, then you got to do something about it, which is this. You got to put it into practice. You got to put these things into practice. Don't just let it be a message that I speak on a Sunday and then it just stops right here at the end of this platform. You got to put these things into practice. So are you willing to change? Now, what do you need to put into practice to be able to see a healthy marriage? Here you go. James 1:19. Quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Come on, somebody. These are the 3 keys to a healthy relationship, to a healthy marriage. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. If you can hold on to those keys, you will have a healthy marriage. Come on, somebody. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. We've talked about the first two keys in the first 2 weeks of this series, and today we're going to talk about the 3rd key to a successful and healthy marriage, and that's this. You need to be slow to get angry. Come on now. You need to be slow to get angry. You need to be slow to get angry. You got to be slow to get angry. How many of y'all know that it's easy to be quick to get angry? I was driving down Ellsworth, I was just driving. I was staying in my lane. I didn't move lanes. I didn't do anything different. I just stayed in my lane. And I was just there. And all of a sudden I look over and a guy's flipping me off. I didn't even do anything. I'm just driving. I didn't even do anything. That guy was quick to get angry. How many of y'all? Luckily, they didn't have a Focus Church sticker in the back of their car. You know what I'm saying? Come on, somebody. Come on. Don't act like none of y'all ever flipped anybody off in here before. Just know that I drive a gray Jeep, okay? So if you see a gray Jeep with a big old lift on it, don't flip off that person, because I'm going to see you on Sunday. Come on now. You got to be slow to get angry. Now, here's something we've got to cover this right away. We got to talk about this. Slow to get angry. We need to understand something. Is anger wrong? Like, is the emotion of anger wrong? How about is anger a sin even? Is anger wrong, and is anger a sin? It feels like it is at times. It feels like a negative emotion. It feels like an emotion that I'm not supposed to have. But I want you to know that anger in itself, it's not wrong and it's not a sin, because God himself gets angry. God himself gets angry. You can see that over and over in Scripture. There was this great flood that happened over all of the earth, and found in Genesis chapter 6. There was moments of God being able to say, you know what, I'm going to take the children of Israel out of Egypt from the slavery that they're in. And you can see God's anger coming down. You can see God's anger in the issue of Sodom and Gomorrah. You can see God's anger come out in the moments that the Israelites are wandering through the wilderness. And out of consistent and constant disobedience to God, we see his anger come through. So anger in itself is not wrong, and anger in itself is not a sin. But the truth of the matter is that this emotion, it's an emotion that will lead you to sin. Come on, somebody. Anger is an emotion that will lead you to sin. James chapter 1, verses 19, we just read this, right? It says, be slow to get angry. And then in verse 20, it says, because human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. Anger in itself is not wrong. It is not a sin. But the human anger that we experience will absolutely lead us to sin. It does not produce the righteousness that God desires inside of us. So what kind of anger then? If the anger in itself is not wrong, anger in itself is not a sin, then what kind of anger that should we be able to have? Not the human anger, but what kind of anger does God? We just said God gets angry. So what does he demonstrate to us? What does he teach us about this emotion that we feel? Well, Exodus chapter 34, it says this: the Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, that's his name, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. And then he says this: I am slow to anger. It's almost like he just spoke out what he's trying to teach us in James 1:19. That God himself is slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. It's reiterated in Psalms 103, 8-9, where the psalmist writes these words. He said, the Lord is compassionate and merciful. He is slow to get angry and filled with unfailing love. He will not constantly accuse us nor remain angry forever. I'm so thankful that God does not just tell us the right way, he shows us the right way. We have a God that cares about us so much that he doesn't just tell us what to do, he demonstrates to us how that we should process the emotions that we have. That we should be slow to get angry. Which in truth is, many of us are walking around in situations that leave us as almost a raw nerve, exposed. And that leads us not into slow to get angry, but quick to be angry. There's so many situations that we go through. In fact, that's what I want to ask and just cover this is why? Why are we quick to get angry? What are the things that we as humans and humanity that we experience that we're living ways that do not produce the righteousness that God wants for us. Instead of being slow to get angry, we are quick to be angry. Well, I can tell you in two basic words why we are quick to be angry. You ready for this? We all have unmet needs. We all have needs. How many of y'all know you need air? Just one person. Come on, Pastor Rod. Some of you are like, it's hot in here. I wish I did have some air. Come on, somebody. I don't know why that side. Just so you know, church, we got the AC running, and it's not running. That's how that goes. And Pastor James goes back and checks it almost every 5 minutes because he's like, I can't get this thermostat to work. And so that's the joys of being in a space that's not ours. How many of y'all believe in that we're going to have our own space one day? Come on, somebody. Meridian at 24, let's go. And we got some exciting things that we're going to be sharing with you about that one as well. But we all have unmet needs. There's unmet needs that we have. We all need air. How many of y'all know you need food? Nah, some of y'all awake now. You need something to drink. You know, you got to have these things. There are needs that we have, and we get angry when we have unmet needs. Pastor Jenny and I, we love the journey of life that we've been on together, and that leads us through ups and downs and all arounds and all that stuff. And we've learned together, and we walk through this journey together. And part of that journey has been a journey of physical health, and walking through a journey of physical health and understanding what that is. And really, truly, we want to be healthy. We want to be healthy in every aspect of our life, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, relationally healthy, financially healthy, and physically healthy. And we strive for that. We work really, really hard. We would rather be proactive in our health than reactive in our health. Y'all feel me on that one? I know that some of our guys in here that have been having heart issues recently, they wish that they would have been a little bit more proactive. You know what I'm saying? We want to be proactive in our health, and so that's been a journey that we've been on, and through that means that there's times that we're not 20 years old anymore, that we can't just decide, you know what, I decide I want to lose 5 pounds, and then by the end of the day, you lose 5 pounds. Anybody remember what that like to be 20 years old and do that? You know, like you just decided you want to. I wish I was stronger, and then you wake up and you're stronger. No, it doesn't happen when you're 50 years old. It takes work. And so we were going through a series, like a little season, where we were going to lose some weight, and we were doing that season together. And we've done that many times, and it's been successful. And we wake up the one day, and I'm like, man, you look good. And she's like, you look good too. And I'm like, good job. And so we were going through that, and one of these situations, we actually got a little bit too aggressive in our weight loss, in our calorie deficit. Anybody ever been aggressive in their calorie deficit? Some of you don't even know what deficit means. It means you need to eat less, all right? Somebody, that's what that means. A calorie deficit means you're eating less than what you're expending, okay? And has anybody ever been in that place where you were just, you went aggressive in your calorie deficit? Anybody get, it's called being hungry. Oh, yeah, now I know what that is. It's called being hungry, y'all. People even say, they're like, man, how did you lose weight? I was hungry. That's the key to it, okay? I'm just saying, eat less. It's a mathematic formula, and we got aggressive in it. And in that time when we were being aggressive in our caloric deficit, we all of a sudden, we woke up the one day, she said something to me. It was one of the worst things she's ever said to me in my entire life. I have no idea what it was. No idea what she said, but she said something that cut me so hard. And then I said something back to her. I have no idea what it was, but it was the worst thing that I've ever said to her. And it started this fight. It started this argument. It was just like, we blew up at each other. And we were just sitting there fighting. We were angry, and we were, rah. And she had a meeting, so she had to leave. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how dare she? And then I thought, how dare she do what? I don't even know what happened. I don't know what she said. I have no idea what day it is. I don't know where I am, what state this is. I have no idea what is going on. And so I just realized, I was like, there's something off, and I think I know what it is. And so I called up Pastor Jenny, and And after she finally picked up the phone on the fifth time that I called her, she said, "What?" And I said, "Babe, I have no idea what just happened. I have no idea what I said. I have no idea what you said. I don't know what's going on." I said, "But what I do think is I think that we just need a cheeseburger." And she said, "I'm already on my way to get one." And I'm telling you, by the end of the night, I was like, "You're so beautiful. You are so wonderful." And she was like, "You are greatest person that just everything that you've done in my life has made it better." Come on, somebody. How many of y'all know that unmet needs can leave you angry? How many of y'all know that unmet food needs can leave you hangry? You know what I'm saying? Unmet needs leave you angry. But it's not like those are simple things, but there's also some deeper issues that we have as well that make us angry. In fact, some of those are things that run really, really deep. Like something that happened when you were a child. An abuse that you had. A situation that you went through. Words that were said to you in a bullying fashion that still cut deep today. Abuse that you might have had at the hands of somebody that you thought was safe, physically, emotionally, or sexually. There's issues that we go through that are so difficult, and those needs are now unmet, and they leave us angry. Past experiences, going through some trauma, military individuals, seeing things that no human being should see. Maybe even a relationship that cut you so deep that you're not sure if there's ever going to be a relationship that could be safe again. And they leave us hurt, and then they leave us angry inside. Current circumstances. How many of y'all know that this world is not fair? And there are issues that you go through, and there are issues that I go through, and they are not fair. Why do bad things happen to good people? And it's easy for us to sit there and question them, and it's easy for us to sit there and absolutely get angry. I'm angry. And I don't know how I'm not supposed to be angry. It's because we're giving into our human condition instead of giving over to a godly condition. With all of those situations, abuse, you got to give it over to God. Past trauma, you got to give it over to God. It's not fair. Cancer is not fair. You got to give it over to God. The way that I say this when it comes to in the context of relationships is it's not just unmet needs. Those unmet needs, really what they turn into for us and how we view the world and how we view life and how we view relationships, it's not just unmet needs. What I call those things are actually expectations. And what leaves us angry are unmet expectations. We go into any relationship, we go into any circumstance, and there's expectations that we have. There's expectations of how we think things should go. When you get married, you have an idea of what will transpire in this relationship, and so that's an expectation that you have. Like I said at the beginning of this series, and it's true as we walk through this is not just true for marriage relationships, this is true for any relationship. All of these keys and all of these principles that we're talking about are not just true for marriages, but they're true for every single relationship. And the story that we want to look at today that's found in the Bible that has to do with unmet expectations and how to be able to process the anger that we have, this emotion that's there, it's found in this story of two main individuals. One is named Naaman, and the other one's name is Elisha. Naaman and Elisha. And Naaman is this general of the army. He's the commander of all the armies of Syria, the greatest empire that there was at that time. Elisha is a prophet of God in this small little nation called Israel. And so Naaman he's in charge, man. He is a high-ranking dude. He is a powerful individual. King Aram loved this guy so much, but Naaman had an issue. He had a problem, and it wasn't fair. This high-ranking official, he's got all the power in basically all of the world, but he had leprosy. He's got a skin disease, and it's ravaging him. And the king wants to be able to help him get better, but doesn't know what to do. Well, one day he finds himself listening to Naaman had this. His wife had a maidservant, and she said, I'm from Israel, and if he could just get to Israel and find this prophet named Elisha, then I know that Elisha would be able to heal him. Well, King Aaron finds out about this and he says, dude, I'm sending you to Israel because we got to get this situation taken care of. And so King Aaron, he writes this letter and he gives it to Naaman and he says, hey, go down to Israel and I want you to be able to go before the king down there and I want you to give him this letter. And this is pretty funny part of the story, if you ask me. And so we find ourselves in 2 Kings chapter 5, verses 6 through 7, where Naaman gives the king of Israel this letter that says, hey, you need to heal Naaman. And the letter to the king of Israel said, with this letter, I present my servant Naaman, and I want you to heal him of leprosy. That's pretty funny to me. Like you can just write letters to somebody and just say, hey, I want you to heal them. Okay, I'm going to start writing letters. Hey, I want you to give me $1 million. Just start writing those letters to somebody. He just writes this letter to the king of Israel. He says, hey, I want you to heal him of leprosy. And then this is how the king of Israel responds. He tore his clothes in dismay. He said, who am I? Am I God? What am I supposed to do about this situation? Am I God that I can give life and take it away? Why is this man asking me to heal somebody with leprosy? I can see he's just trying to pick a fight with me because I can't do it. And then I'm going to find myself into a situation where Aram is mad at me and now I got all Assyria coming down on me. What did I do? I didn't do anything. That's just funny to me if you ask me. He finds himself frustrated. Why? Because he was in a current circumstance that had no idea how he was supposed to resolve it. A current circumstance that this is not fair. I was just sitting here enjoying the day. I woke up and I was like, look at all those sheep over there. Those are great sheep. Look at over there. There's the cedars of Lebanon over there. Come on, isn't those so great? Some of y'all need to read the Bible. Cedars of Lebanon. You're like, cedars of Lebanon? What are you talking about, man? Read the Bible. I'm just saying, don't take my word for it. Read it yourself, He's sitting there on just a normal day, and then all of a sudden he has this circumstance that's thrust upon him. He gets a letter. Anybody ever got a letter in the mail and you thought, how am I supposed to take care of this? What am I supposed to do? And you start feeling frustrated, right? Well, good news is that in this situation, Elisha finds out about it. Elisha finds out about this letter, and he says, hey, king, I got you taken care of. Go ahead and send Naaman to me. And so fast forward to verse 9 through 10. So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and waited at the door of Elisha's house. But Elisha sent a messenger out to him. That's important to understand. Naaman comes from Syria, the capital. He goes all the way to Israel. He goes in front of the king. Then he's like, no, I'm supposed to go to this prophet. I go to the prophet's house, and now I'm standing there. I'm waiting, and Elisha just sends a messenger out. And then he says this, though. He says, go and wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River. Then your skin will be restored and you will be healed of your leprosy. Come on, somebody. Doesn't that sound great? Come on, somebody. Doesn't that sound great? I mean, if I'm going to find healing and then I get this letter that says, hey, all you got to do is just go wash yourself in the Jordan River. Just go wash yourself in the Jordan River 7 times and you're going to be healed. I'll be like, let's go. That sounds fantastic. Let's go. Except there were some expectations that Naaman had. The expectation was a little bit different than the response that he was given. This is how Naaman responds to what could be great news. But Naaman became angry. He just was told that he's going to be healed. This situation that you've been dealing with, this leprosy that's there, it's going to be gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And instead, he gets angry and stalked away. Come on, somebody. Anybody ever stalked away? Anybody ever said stalked away? Come on now. It's not how we talk anymore, is it? You know what I'm saying? It's stalked away. Next time I stalk away, babe, don't be like, you're stalking away. I might get angry at that one, you know what I'm saying? And then he said, I thought, oh, come on now. I thought what I thought was going to take place, what I thought was going to happen, how I thought this thing was going to play out is not playing out the way that I thought. I thought he would certainly come out to meet me. Somebody help me out. Expected. I expected something different than this. I expected him to wave his hand over. Oh, that seems much more holy, doesn't it? Whew. I mean, that's what a holy man does right there. I've seen televangelists. Whole church. Come on, somebody. T.D. Jakes come walking up in there. Praise God. Whole church go down, man. God didn't give me that baritone voice. I'm just saying, I expected when I became a pastor that I would be able to say, praise God. The whole place go down. I thought that's how it was going to be able to take place. I expected him to wave his hand over my leprosy, call on the name of the Lord as God, heal me. Aren't the rivers of Damascus and Abaddon and Pharpar, they're better than any of these rivers? Why shouldn't I wash in them and be healed? So Naaman turned and went away in a rage. He had healing and he had his needs that were right in front of him, but yet he had unmet expectations. Here's why I believe that many of us in here, when we find ourselves in any relationship, and we have expectations inside those relationships. You have expectations about how your house is going to be run. You have expectations on how you're going to be able to deal with finances. You have expectations on what your sex life is going to look like. You have all of these different expectations. And we get ourselves into situations where we find ourselves angry because we have those unmet expectations. Here, listen. The reason why you have unmet expectations in marriage and in any other relationship is because of unspoken expectations. Ooh, come on. I got married. It's 5:30. I'm sitting down at the dinner table. Where's my food? Why would you expect there to be food? Well, because my mom made dinner at 5:30 every single night. And that's how I expected this relationship to be. Come on, somebody. You see what I'm saying? The reason why you have unmet expectations is because you have unspoken expectations. Imagine how it would have played out if Naaman was just walking up on that journey from the palace over to Elisha's house, and he would have just simply said to one of his servants, one of the individuals with him, driving along, they're in the horses, they're just having conversation, and he would have just simply said, you know, I expect this man to be able to come out in front of me. I expect for him to be able to, he's going to give a grand gesture. He's going to wave his hand before the Lord. All of a sudden, the heavens are going to open up. And then there's going to be all this, oh, and you're going to see my skin healed. If he would have said that out loud, then perhaps one of his individuals that was with him, one of his buddies, would have said, well, what if he gives you a quest? You got to go on a long quest. And if you go on the long quest, and then you're going to be able to reach this magical fountain in the middle of the Himalayas, and that's where you're going to find healing. Would it be okay if he did that? Yeah, I'll go on a quest. If this means my healing, I will go on a quest. And then I'll be knighted at the end of that quest. Come on, somebody. Okay, Naaman. If he gives you a long quest, what if he doesn't even come out at all? And he doesn't give you a quest. He gives you a letter of instruction that's going to be really, really easy to do. Would you be willing to follow the letter that he gives you? Well, I never even thought about it that way. But I guess if we get there and I don't even see this man and he gives me a letter and gives me a simple instruction, you know what? I'll probably do that. Do you see how easy that conversation flows? Do you see how instead of him having these undue expectations because they were unspoken expectations, instead he talks about them, and now he doesn't have an unmet expectation. Instead, he gets the simple letter and then he goes and does exactly what the letter says. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened after he got angry, is that one of his buddies was like, hold on, man. If he gave you something really hard to do, you would have done that. You would have been eager to do that one. This is something simple. Just go wash yourself in the Jordan River, do it 7 times, and be done with it. All right, fine. I'm doing it 7 times. What do you know? He's healed. And now he's like, Elisha's the greatest dude ever. It's fantastic. Why? Because instead of having unspoken expectations, he spoke about them, and now his expectations were met. The problem that you have inside of your relationships and why you're finding yourself frustrated and why you're finding yourself quick to get angry is because you still have unmet expectations because you've never talked about them. You've never talked about what your expectations are when it comes to money inside of your relationship. You've never talked about what your expectations are on who's going to be able to do the laundry. You've never talked about your expectations on what your life is going to look like inside of the bedroom. Instead of getting mad at each other, instead of getting quick to be angry, simply talk about it. And I'm going to give you an easy way. I'm going to give you all homework. Come on, somebody. Why? Because I don't want to be able to see this message just fall off the platform on a Sunday morning. I hope that you're going to be able to do something with it. Put these things into practice so that you can find yourself in a healthier marriage than you've ever found yourself before. To be able to have all of your expectations met, you got to have spoken expectations. So this is something powerful that Pastor Jenny and I, that we started to implement at the very beginning of our marriage, and it has done us well ever since then, is that we got inside of our home, we got inside of our house, and we just went room by room. We went room by room. What do I mean by that? I mean, we sat in the living room and we said, what are our expectations inside of this living room? Living room's where the TV's at a lot of times. What are our expectations on the TV? Who gets to hold the remote control? Hey, come on now. That's real right there. That's real. And all the guys are like, I do. Who said? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you talk about this? What are your expectations on who's going to clean it? What are your expectations on furniture? Instead of getting yourself frustrated when you're going over to American Furniture Warehouse, instead you're actually talking about it beforehand. Do you see what I'm talking about here? You're going into the bathroom. What are the expectations on all the hair on the sink? Uh-oh, I'm speaking some real life to somebody right here. Come on. What are your expectations on how many times the bowl is clean? You see what I'm saying? Why would you want to go through these unmet expectations? You're getting frustrated at each other when you can just simply talk about them. What are the expectations inside of the bedroom? What are the expectations on what our sex life is going to look like? What are our expectations on who's making the bed? Come on, somebody. What are our expectations in the laundry room? What are the expectations in the garage? Who's taking care of the car? Who's going to be able to do the maintenance? Who's going to be able to do all of these things? If you just simply talk about it, you're going to be able to release all of these frustrations that you have. And instead of being quick to get angry, you can learn how to be slow to get angry. Don't have unspoken expectations. Now, this is something that's going to just blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. I already blew your mind, some of y'all. Some of y'all are like, we've never even thought about talking before. We've never even thought about whose job it was to do it. We just kind of fell into this routine. And then you wonder why you're mad at that routine. You know what I'm saying? This is going to blow your mind, though. When you're going through these expectations room by room, this is so important for you. Oh, my goodness. This is just, I get so excited about this. I get so excited because I know somebody's going to be able to implement this, and it's going to change your marriage. When you go inside of that room and then you talk about what the expectations are, this is so important. Once an expectation is spoken, now we ask why. See, the key is not just hearing the expectation. The key is trying to understand my spouse. I need to know why. Why is it important for you that there are never dishes in the sink? That's a real thing. It's a real, I'm telling you, I was having a conversation with somebody, and it was their biggest pet peeve ever was dishes in the sink. You know why? Because that was one of the biggest fights that their parents got in. And they were scared that their parents were going to get in divorce because of fights of dishes in the sink. And so the fear that if there were dishes in the sink, it meant that the marriage wasn't working. Do you see how that works? See, I'm not interested in just meeting Jenny's expectations. What I'm interested in is knowing her and caring about her. And as I begin to know her and care about her more and more, now it is a joy of mine to meet those expectations. Now it's a joy of mine to make sure that we are healthy. It's a joy of mine to be able to say, this is how we work inside of this relationship. Why? Because we understand each other. And that's the key to making sure that you're slow to get angry. See, as you're working through, I got to change this anger and bitterness that's inside of me. I don't want that to be part of my life anymore. Instead of just getting angry at all of these things that my wife is doing, my husband's doing, and all of these things, and just frustration is building up. Instead, I want to know my spouse. I want to know this individual. I want to know this coworker that is driving me crazy. And I'm asking those questions. Why are these expectations there? And then, instead of being quick to get angry, now I'm quick to listen. And now I'm quick to care. And now I'm quick to be able to work inside of this marriage in the best possible way, which is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. I'm quick to submit to one another. That's a healthy marriage. Where it's not just getting my way. It's not just doing what I want. It's not making sure that all of my needs are met. It's making sure that we are working together, that we are on this journey together, that we are quick to listen, that we are quick to care, and that we are quick to submit to one another's needs. Instead of being frustrated and angry, instead of finding yourself in all of those situations in your marriage, when you find yourself changing that behavior, here's what it really does. It changes your heart. And I've said this through every single week of this series. The 3 keys to a healthy marriage: being quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. But those 3 keys truly unlock the greatest key and the key that you need for any healthy relationship is to change your hard heart to a soft heart. You don't need a hard heart towards your spouse. You need a soft heart, a caring heart. Instead of having a heart that's full of bitterness, instead of having a heart that's full of rage and anger, instead of having a heart that's holding on to all of those hurts in the past, instead, you've got to be able to find healing, and you got to be able to find yourself in a place where you say, I want to be able to give you my heart. And I'm not worried about you trying to hurt it, because I understand that you're in this journey with me, and I have a heart after God, and you have a heart after God, and we both have soft hearts. And that is the key to any healthy relationship. Change your hard heart to a soft heart. But you got to get rid of some of those past hurts. You can't hold on to them any longer. You can't hold on to all of those things and bring it into a marriage and expect that your spouse is just going to be able to bow down to all of those things. You got to find healing from it. And I know that it's hard. I know that it's not easy. I know that from experience in my own life. That I've gone through difficult things. I've gone through hurts. I've gone through abuse. So I know what sexual abuse is like. I know what to be able to do to walk through that. Well, my God has healed me from that. I know what it's like to go through hurts of what you've done to yourself, the abuse that you do to yourself. I know what it's like to abuse alcohol and to live a life. I was the prodigal son, y'all, but I found healing from that. I don't walk around thinking, what kind of sinner am I? No, you know who I am? I'm a child of God. You know who I am? I am righteous before Him. I am made righteous. And so I walk around not as a sinner who is ugly and disgusting. No, I walk around as a child of God with my head up high and understand that I am the righteousness that God has given me. That's who you are. So find healing from it. Don't hold on to it. The only thing it's doing is it's hurting your heart and then hurting your relationships. Church, would you please stand with me today? See, every single week, the last 2 weeks, I've had you and your spouse make a vow to each other. That's not this week. That's not this week. Being slow to get angry is not a promise that you can make to your spouse. It's a promise that you need to make to God. This is not about you and your spouse in this moment. This is about you and your relationship with God. This is about you and the hurts that you've had inside of your life in the past. This is about you and all of those things that are holding you back from being able to talk about and to be able to find a healing that you desperately need. This is about you and God right now in this moment. And I want you to know that we've been praying for and believing for that there's going to be victory in the house today. We've been in war already for you, on our knees, fighting this battle, knowing that you're walking into this room and there's some sort of hurt, there's some sort of abuse, there's some sort of trauma that you have experienced in your past that is not allowing you to find the fulfillment in a relationship that you need today. But today there's victory in this house. Today there's healing inside of this house. And all of those past hurts, all of those past traumas, and all of those past abuses do not have to be who you are right now. They can be part of your story, but they are not who you are right now. That you are a child of God who is found whole in His sight. Come on, somebody. So we're going to sing out this song. Just go to the bridge on that. We're going to sing through this bridge, and we're going to sing this portion. And I want you to know, your healing does not have to happen in some wild wave of the hand. Your healing does not have to happen in some wild, supernatural, oh my goodness, all of a sudden I saw a vision, the roof opened up and the glory of God was shining down upon me right now. No, your healing happens because God is sending you a messenger, me, today to tell you all you gotta do is just step out and receive your healing today. All you gotta do is just step out and you're gonna be washed clean today. That you don't have to hold on to those hurts. You don't have to hold on to those burdens. You don't have to hold on to that abuse, all of that trauma. All you got to do today is just step out and receive your healing today. And today you can be washed clean in Jesus' mighty name. That healing is for you today. That healing is there for you today. And if you're in this place today, you need that healing. You desire that healing. You want that healing. I'm going to ask you, just raise your hands up before God. And just as we sing this song, just begin to have a conversation with Him in your own heart. Begin to have a conversation and saying, God, I'm here. God, I'm ready. And I'm ready to let go of all that today.